Hello and welcome to Sun Racing's preview of Champions Day at Ascot. It promises to be an extravaganza as it always is this year, with some cracking races headlined by some superstars of the turf. First up, we're going to talk about the Champions Stakes. I'm delighted to be joined by Mark Nevin and Jack Keene to discuss the day. Magical, the hot favourite now that the track has been moved. We're on the National Hunt course rather than the flat course for this race. The ground looks to have gone in her favour. She's been backed all week and it looks like a very, very good race for her to win. Mark, looking bomb-proof, do you think?
Yeah, possibly. She'll handle the ground. She's got form in the autumn, but I think she's been on the go all season. I might go with Deirdre each way. If she had got a clear run in the Irish Champion, she would have went close. Bit more of a hopeful one. It's not really a strong race, betting race for me.
No.
I think the ground, because it's on the hurdles track now, the ground might not be as bad. And I think her Dave's been overbet. Coronet, can't really see her winning, and the rest. Regal Reality maybe. I think if you could get good to soft ground, he would be a bit of each way value.
He's got a high rating, isn't he, Regal Reality? He's rated 120, which I was surprised by actually.
Sort of that Eclipse, right?
Yeah, third in the Eclipse. And Stout, Michael Stout of older horses. I mean, it's, he's got a fantastic record. I'd probably just take a chance with Regal Reality and Deirdre each way.
Lovely. Jack, what about you?
I echo the sentiments really. I think Magical is the best horse in the race, but the concern is the fact that she's had such a busy season. She's had quite a few hard races. I mean, it's a big plus that she's on this track. Slightly better ground will suit. I don't think she'd have wanted a slog on really heavy ground. So I think she's going to be hard to beat. If she were to flop, because she has been on the go for a long time, I do think Deirdre is potentially best placed to come and pick up the pieces. As long, again, she could do a bit better ground. But you're right, it was a real eye-catching run in Ireland. So I think she's probably the main danger. But I think Magical will still be hard to beat.
I agree. I thought Magical last time in the Arc. I mean, I know the ground wasn't right for her, and she went off, towards the head of affairs, made a lot of use of her. But to me, she just looked a bit knackered by the end of it. I don't know. As you say, it's been a long season. If she's up to her best form, she is the one to beat here. But I'm going to stick a bit in for Coronet. I think she's always been underrated, and she's won 2 Group 1s in a row, and I don't think this is the strongest renewal of all time. She'd be my pick. So I'll go Coronet. Mark.
I'll probably Dutch Regal Reality and Deirdre.
And check.
Magical.
Lovely stuff. To the QE2, the Group 1 race over a mile, which sees the Revenant favourite after absolutely bolting up in France last time out. This race has got a good bunch of horses in. It's quite a big field actually this year. Magna Grecia, Ben Battle, Lord Glitters, King of Change, King of Comedy and Mahatha are the main players in this. Jack, come to you first. What are your thoughts on the race itself and Revenant's favourite?
Well, as you said, there's been floods of money for the Revenant because of the ground. For me, I know you got on at quite fancy prices, but for me, I wouldn't be a player at about 5 to 2ish. I think he is now. For all, he's obviously got an obvious chance in the first time hood. I actually would take a chance on Magna Grecia on his return. He won the Futurity last year, the bit of cut in the ground. Aidan O'Brien, we've seen it year in, year out. He's the master at peaking horses in the autumn. I can forgive this horse's flop in the Irish Guineas. I think he's better than that, and he comes in nice and fresh. So I'm expecting him to run a really nice race. At a price, I think Century Dream is quite interesting. He had some nice form last year, and he'll like soft ground. Goes well at Ascot, so he's not a bad each way bet. I think at a big price for Simon Crisford.
Great stuff, Mark.
I got on the Reverend, bit of after time in a little bit, but got on at 12. So
Not like you, Nev.
Got to win first.
So I'm on. Obviously I could trade out if I want. So I've got a free bet really in the race. Magna Grecia, I'm quite surprised he's running, just because I thought he would have roughed him off.
Yeah.
Since he hasn't been seen since the Irish Guineas. I think he'll handle the ground.
Well, I think they tried to get him back for the Irish Champion, didn't they? But he was not ready. I think that was the idea. But
it just seems end of season. I mean, his Guineas win was very impressive.
Great, wasn't it? Yeah,
it was very impressive. I mean, if you win a classic by 3.5 lengths, he was. There was an element of track bias potentially, but I think he was the best horse in the day. He will handle the ground, I'm sure he will. Ben Battle, I think he's probably the best horse currently on form.
Wants better ground, I don't know.
I'm sure he wants quicker ground.
I agree.
He's a genuine Group 1 horse. King of Comedy bombed out behind him last time. He should have won the St James. He'll handle the
Interesting,
ground.
it's first on headgear, isn't he? That's,
I think he needs it.
I think he does.
He's definitely a thinker.
Yeah.
I think Gosden's got a decent record on this. He's definitely. I mean, he might be overpriced, but I was just so disappointed with his run last time. I mean, it's different day, different ground. The fact he's running suggests everything's all right, but. I mean, I'm just happy with my anti-post bet.
No, I would be as well.
I just think the ground, everything about him, the way he won last time, on our sort of our weekend, he's got the jockey of the moment, the arch villain. But you know, that Pierre Charles.
Yeah.
He can't do anything wrong at the minute, and I mean, he's not a typical French softie, so to speak. Does everything on the bridle. You wind him up, and he's got a bit of pick up. I think he was trained by Hugo Palmer.
He was,
which is, it's a bit of a weird sort of path he's taking. But I think if the ground stays heavy, he's a worthy favourite. But there's not much value in his price now. I think he's about 5-2. He's a bit skinny.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think he's absolutely the one to beat. I was so impressed with him at Longchamp last time. The way he quickened away from some really, really pretty good horses. I mean, Almeida's a Group 1 horse in his own right, and he made them look really slow. I think he's definitely the one to beat. Magna Grecia, obviously very interesting, coming back from a layoff. Ben Battle, I agree. I think the ground will go in his favour. Lord Glitters can never predict him. He's so erratic. It's very hard to get him. On a going day, he'd have a chance.
He does love it at Ascot.
He does. He absolutely does. One I think is just worth a mention. I mean, he's very unlikely to win it, but Mahatha hasn't been seen since winning the Queen.
That is interesting.
He's been off for ages. Obviously, something was amiss with him, but he's got some decent form in the book, and the fact they're throwing him straight into Group 1 at the end of the year rather than just waiting until next year suggests...
Yeah, well, they had him ended up in the Joel Stakes, didn't they? And I think it may have been quickish ground. Well, it definitely was quick ground. I think he may have won his Greenham on good to soft. I think he probably wants a bit of cut. But I mean, this would be a big ask after such a long layoff. But I still think he's a nice colt.
He won the 2-year-old race. I can't remember what it's called these days.
Horace Hill.
Yeah, that's it. And he won that on soft ground.
Yeah, I think he likes
20-1 shocker. It was Mark Dwyer rode him, I think.
And it would nice to see Marcus Tregoning with another top class horse, wouldn't it?
Sir Percy, I remember the Sir Percy days.
I mean, we might not see the best of him until next year, to be fair, but it'd be interesting to see how he goes.
Yeah, absolutely. But anyway, apart from that, I'm going to stick with Revenant. I was so impressed with him last time, and I imagine you are as well, Mark, after that.
I mean that form's just quality. I mean, it just hits everything with the Circus Maximus farm and all that sort of stuff. What about your old mate, Accident
Agent?
Yeah, I think he's a big price.
Yeah, he is a big price,
because he'll handle the ground, and if he breaks alertly, I mean 33s, 40s.
He
could nick third place. So taste the odds.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
he's just a nutter, isn't he?
I mean, he does love it here. My worry would be when he won that Queen Anne, the Eve Johnson Horton yard were absolutely flying. They were firing winners all over the place, and I feel like since last summer they've just been a bit quiet. Never really got going. This horse hasn't really got going. Refused to race at Royal Ascot. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, he's a massive price, so if you're having a little tickle, you're happy to take a chance, aren't you?
I think he came third to beat the bank in that race.
Yeah, it was. Didn't he finish third in the Lockage as well?
So like Lockage forms worked out quite well.
Yeah.
Obviously the winners, won last week at Newmarket. Romanized came fourth. I think the form Lawrence came second. I think. Form still. I mean, he'll definitely handle the ground. But I mean, as you can say, it's a wide open race really. It's whoever handles conditions the best.
Jack, your selection?
Magna Grecia for me.
Magna Grecia, lovely. Okay, moving on to the fillies and mares, should we do? Which you see Star Catcher, the kind of star late developer of the season, John Gosden and Frankie Dettori, won the Irish Oaks and has since won the Prix Vermeil in France, very impressively. She takes on Anna Perna, who won the English Oaks, also for John Gosden, Antonia de Vega, who's an improver for Rafe Beckett, Fleeting for Aidan O'Brien, Tonawa for Dermot Weld, and a smattering of others. Jack, come to you first, mate. What are your thoughts on this?
I quite like Antonia de Vega at a decent each-way price. I know the two Gosden fillies at the top have got the best form, but I still think this filly is unexposed. She looked very exciting as a 2-year-old. Bolted up at Ponty, I think it was, on soft ground.
Yeah.
It was then well fancied for the fillies mile, but she picked up an injury, finished last. Came back, bolted up again on soft at Newbury in June. It was good to see she still had an engine. But she's been off since then, but I spoke to Harry Bentley at Kempton the other day. He says she's working really well. that's been the target for a long time, and they can't wait to get her up to a 1.5. I think she'll absolutely relish it. I hope it rains a bit more, to be honest. She could probably do with it not quickening up, because she loves to get her toe in. But I still think she's unexposed. She only had 4 starts. I think she'll love the trip, and I just think I'm quite happy to take on the top 2 for all. Like, they've got the best form. I'm happy to have an each way flyer at this filly. But
great.
Starcatcher's probably the one to beat. I don't know what you lads think.
Mark, what do you think, mate?
I agree with you with this Antonia de Vega. She was, I think, she beat a Goldstein filly at Newbury, and she's since won a Group 2, but then she disappointed in the Prix de l'Opera, I think. It's the Princess Hyatt colours, I can't remember what it's called, but so the form stands up, because it was just a listed race.
It was a listed, yeah.
But she absolutely...
She won by 4 or 5, didn't she?
But it could have been 10.
Yeah.
I mean, she'll definitely stay. I had it down as an Oaks filly early in the season, and she just didn't turn up into any of the trials. She wants as much rain as possible, but cutting the ground will be fine for her. I've been a big fan of Dermot Wells' Tawana. I sort of went off the cliff a little bit with her each way in the Oaks. Didn't handle her track at all. She's been really good since. She won at Cork, beating some Aidan O'Brien horses, and then she won the Group 2. So just under 10 furlongs on Irish Champions weekend at the Curragh, which was amazing really, because I always had her down as a stayer. So she's got a bit of speed. She'll probably handle the ground. She's got form in soft.
Yeah, I think she'll be alright on the ground.
And Weld's got a decent record in this race. He's won it a couple of times. I just think she's been the forgotten horse. Yeah. You know, and she's still got to go from Group 2 to Group 1, but I think you can get about 10 to 1 on her, and she could nick a place. The Godson fillies for Anna Piora. She had a hard race last time. I thought Frankie had to get stuck into her. It was a proper Group 1, staying Group 1 for fillies, older fillies and the 3-year-olds. Starcatcher, she's just been so deceptively progressive. Every time she runs, I think, it'll be the time to get her. Yeah. But I thought Frankie's just ridden. I thought at Royal Ascot Frankie stole the race, but he didn't. Irish Oaks, he did the same, didn't? Vermeer.
I know.
She just keeps winning.
She is a winning machine. I can't quite work out why she's 7 to 4 and Annapurna's 4s. I know Annapurna was like 7th behind her in France, but she didn't get a run. She was really poorly placed, didn't get a run.
She should have been on the outside.
Yeah, I mean Frankie had a bit of a freebie, but this is the problem, because she keeps like making all, or whatever, going from up with the pace. You kind of think, she's been given a soft lead, is she flattered? But she just keeps winning, keeps galloping. So, but I mean, she is quite short. I think Annapurna actually rated higher than her. So,
do we think she'll get another easy lead?
She's still 11, so she'll have to work to get across. Yeah. So
I can't work out whether or not she has been slightly flattered by getting an easy lead each time. I mean, Frankie has had his own way up front in her last 3 starts. I mean, obviously she's very good, but I'm gonna put up go slightly left field and put up Fleeting, who I think has been. He's laughing already. That's a good sign.
Well, she's second to.
Yeah, she was second to Starcatcher at Ascot.
Fleeting in second shock.
Yeah, just keeps being given terrible rides from rear, and I just hope she's going to be more prominent and she can just make a challenge rather than having to be 5 lengths off the pace and then come and just get beaten. If she is given a more prominent ride, I can see her going a lot closer. I mean, she's not got a lot to find with the favourite at all. So she'd be my pick each way. I think of the 2 Gosden fillies, I've been a huge fan of Annapurna ever since she won at Epsom, and I was really glad to see her back in the Royal Year last time. Whether or not, you said it was a hard race last time, whether or not she's quite ready to go again now. I'm surprised Gosden's running both, to be honest, in the same race. I thought we would have concentrated on one, but maybe it's an owner's decision.
Pretty sure Annapurna's being retired after this, so might as well have a crack.
Might as well have a crack. And I agree with you about Antonia de Vega. I think she's got untapped potential, particularly if the rain comes. But yeah, I'm going to stick with Fleeting. Mark, thoughts on Fleeting? I want to hear what you say about that.
I just think she enjoys coming second.
Well, she'll probably come second again.
Last time, I mean, I think Wayne Lorden rode it last time. And again, she had to weave through traffic. Yeah. She should have probably won. Was it the Prix de l'Opera that last time?
Yes, it was, yeah.
Yeah, she should have. I think she should have won, but she just keeps keeps coming second, doesn't she?
Was it the Ribblesdale as well?
Oh, that's another Ryan
I
Moore.
remember going mad at the
Gave me
screen.
too much to do that.
I remember going mad at the screen that day.
Same with the Irish Oaks.
But then again, these horses were like, oh, too much to do. She was given too much to do. But when does it stop becoming the jockey's fault and the fact that actually the horse doesn't really want to go through with it?
I think
that's true.
Yeah, I think
You
she
could well
likes
be
to come
right.
second, but she's like you said, she hasn't got much to find with the favourite.
No.
I think they should consider changing tactics, maybe ride a mid-div. I remember when she won the May Hill last season, she was ridden a bit handier. There was a bit of a headwind that day, but so I think Donica rode her that day, and so she doesn't have to be held up. So it's a bit of a weird decision that they have to keep coming late with it. But maybe she is a bit of a thinker and she just likes to come second. So.
Yeah, I mean, if she's held up at the back again, I'll be absolutely furious because she will probably just come second or third.
Talking of Ballydor jockeys quickly, interesting that Ryan's going over to Australia rather than
10
staying
sovereigns.
10 sovs in the Everest. Yeah.
That is very interesting, actually.
I mean, yeah.
He would have had
Obviously
magic.
fancy his chance in Australia.
Very odd. Okay, selection time. I'm gonna go with fleeting each way. Mark,
I'm gonna take a chance on Tawana.
Lovely.
I'm a believer in the DK world.
And Jack, what about you?
Antonio De Vega for me.
Great stuff. Okay, moving on to the long distance race where Stradivarius is seeking to win it for the second time on the bounce. He's been, quite imperious, I would say, this year. He's taken all before him at Doncaster, York, Ascot and Goodwood, and it'll take a very, very good performance to beat him here, you'd have to think. Likes of Kew Gardens, Royal Line and Withhold, I would say, his main dangers. Whether or not they'll be main danger enough is yet to be seen. Mark, do you think he's pretty much a good thing?
Not on this ground.
No?
No. If it dries out, he'll win because he is a winning machine, and he is probably one of. There was a moment where he was very underappreciated, but he's starting to get the accolades he deserves. Really.
The amazing thing about him is that he's only rated £1 higher than Regal Reality, which, if you think about it, is just nuts.
Yeah, I mean
his record is just brilliant.
Oh, yeah, brilliant. Yeah. I mean, maybe that speaks for the fact that the staying division hasn't been that strong over the last year.
He can only be what's put in front of him, can't he?
Yeah.
So, what, are you going to take him on, or do you think he's going
to? It all depends on the ground. If I was going to take him on, Kew Gardens, I was dying for him to go for the Gold Cup this year. He's got Gold Cup written all over him.
He was entered for it, wasn't he?
I think he was entered for it, but he didn't.
They didn't go that way, did they?
Yeah. The Abel Capri is. That's a soft guy. He was barking.
What's happened?
They're running that again, aren't they?
What has happened?
So
equine canine. In all seriousness, Kew Gardens. He's had a bit of a stop-start season. Chester was awful.
It's knock off the ground,
and then Coronation Cup, how he didn't win that. Yeah. And the Irish Ledger, he went no pace and he finished quite well. He's coming back into form. It'll be interesting. I've always wanted to see Withhold, in his
me too.
cup race, to be honest. And Newmarket showed his class. Jason Watson, he's in flying form, isn't he?
Absolutely.
I mean, they've got a mountain to find with Stradivarius, but Kew Gardens managed to win a Ledger. Stradivarius didn't. I just think 2 miles soft ground for Kew Gardens, he'll be fine with that. And him and Withhold, they're probably each way bets. You could nick a bit of each way value.
Yeah.
What about you, Jack?
Oh, I think Withhold is very interesting. I mean, if you remember last year at Ascot, how many did Ballydor run it? I think they ran 3 or 4, and they tried to box Stradivarius in, didn't they?
I remember
and
that.
Then Ron fell asleep off the home bend, and he burrowed up the road. I wonder if they're going to have some sort of plan, and I just wonder if Withhold gets a bit of a freebie. I don't know. He might just take a bit of pegging back. I mean, Stradivarius we know, is the best horse in the race, but I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me if we saw Withhold just nick an easy lead and keep galloping. I don't know. Stradivarius may well just come and pick him up because that's what he's done for the last couple of years. But I mean, I wouldn't be backing him at 4 to 7, even though he's the best horse in the race. It'd probably just be a watching race for me.
He's been beaten in this before.
Yeah, last defeat was in this race.
Yeah.
So I mean, if it rains again and the ground is properly testing, it's not going to be ideal for him.
Thoughts on Royal Line, who's obviously improving for Gosden. He's going to have to step up on his Kempton win last time, but at least we know he's probably going to stay.
Like the ground.
Yeah, like the ground.
Go on the ground. Stamina.
worry.
Got my doubts.
Do you think?
I don't think he wants a slog. He'll travel smoothly, but I'd be surprised if he stays.
Well, I took on Stradivarius twice as cross canter, and then with Il Paradiso, unbelievably, at York, and I'm not going to do it again because I don't want to have egg on my face once more. So I'm going to stick with him. I agree with both of you. I think it's great to see Withhold in a cup race, and if he gets an easy lead, then he could take some pegging back. Absolutely, I agree. But I'm going to stick with a favourite. Mark?
It's a toss-up between Kew Gardens and Withhold. I'd probably stick with Withhold. I think he's coming into this, with all guns blazing really. He's probably more of a safer pick. Where I think Kew Gardens is probably a bit classier, a bit more pace and more of the sort of the complete package. But I just think Withhold maybe Withhold could nick this.
Okay, Jack.
Yeah, I mean, I think Stradivarius will take a lot of beating, but I'll probably have a couple of quid each way and Withhold.
Great stuff. 2 Withholds, lovely. On to the sprint now. This is an absolute cracker. For my opinion, probably the race of the day. We've got Hello Yumzane and Advertise. Make a Challenge, who is the interesting progressive horse in the race, and then a clutch of past winners, including Sands of Mali, the Tin Man, La Brisa Breeze, and then slightly more unexposed horses over this distance, like One Master, who won the Foray last time. It really is an absolute belter of a race this year. Jack, come to you first. Thoughts on this?
I agree. I think it's the race of the day in terms of competitiveness. You could go through and say 12 of the 17 could win. I kind of am leaning towards Hello Yumzane at the minute, and maybe blinded by the fact that I had a few quid on him at Haydock, but I do think he's improving. The ground's fine. He was behind Advertise in the Commonwealth Cup, but he is a big, strong horse, and I think he's just been taken along slowly by Kevin Ryan this year, he still thinks he's going to be better next year, and I just get the feeling he's on an upward curve, and it wouldn't surprise me if he improved past Advertise. And I mean, I'm always wary of backing the Mead horses this year, because I've had viruses on and off and stuff, haven't they? I mean, I'd never be taking a short price about one, but I'd say I was leaning towards Hello Yumzane, but as you say, there's loads of near of chances. One Master's quite interesting. She'll need a strong pace, would have thought, but she liked the ground. Make a Challenge, very interesting. This is a step up though for me, and he's improved so much. Kind of, where is that ceiling going to come? And I think this is a lot tougher. The Tin Man ran well at Haydock. Dream of Dreams, I think, so you shouldn't overrule him out, because very nearly won the Diamond Jubilee. I think you can forgive him his runs at Newmarket and Haydock. Back here will suit. Bit of cut in the ground's fine, so I think he's not a bad each way bet, but I'm leaning towards, as I say, Hello Yumzane.
Great stuff. I agree that Hello Yumzane's got a massive chance, but I'm going to put my head over the parapet and say I think Make a Challenge is going to improve enough, just because I think he's going to absolutely love this ground. I think it's going to be a real test in these conditions, and he quite clearly loves the mud. He won a Premier Handicap by 6 lengths, then he absolutely bolted up in listed company last time. Obviously this is a big step up, but I can see him running an absolutely huge race with a very good young jockey in Joe Doyle on board. He'd be my pick, and I've also like to give a mention to Sands of Mali, who won the race last year in similar conditions, not quite as bad, I don't think it was, but he's definitely been put out for this race again by his trainer, and this is obviously his time of year, so I would like to see him run well. Mark, what about you, mate?
I'd love to see Make a Challenge do it. It's just been a fairy tale story, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
I remember watching Galway. I think he won twice at Galway. He was really lucky to win 7-film handicap off 76.
That is mad to think that, isn't it? Yeah.
But his last 2 starts, the Premier Handicap was just looked like a group.
It was a joke, wasn't it? Yeah, it was.
And then last time, I think it was on Sunday, was it? When he beat decent mudlarks on the bridle, basically.
Danforth is a good horse in those conditions, and he absolutely destroyed.
I mean, this is more of a step up. As long as the ground stays heavy, but he's becoming the right price, so to speak.
Yeah,
he's about 5 to 1, 6 to 1.
He joined faves. Well, that's 3. Co-favorites are 3, I think, in the plate.
I mean, he's never. I don't even think he's won a group race.
No,
was that
a listed? Yeah.
Was it a listed race? It's a bit of a big step up.
If it was fast ground, I think you would almost cut them out straight away. But just because the conditions are like they are, you'd have to give him a big chance, wouldn't you? I think.
Yeah, he's just improving. And these sprinters, when they get the winning habit, you just never know. And sometimes there's not as much difference between Premier Handicaps and Group Company.
No.
It just depends what type of horse you are, if you need that strong gallop. Dream of Dreams, he's probably the value in the race. On it, on another day, he might have won at Royal Ascot
Yeah.
with a bit more luck. And Ascot does seem to be a course that attracts course specialists. One master, I'd be against her. She's got the ground.
She'll need her to go hard.
I just don't think 6 furlong. She's got the speed even in heavy ground. I think she'll just be running on for a place probably. Which I don't know what price she is now, but she's become a price. The Tin Man, he's a race regular. It'd be great to see him back.
It would be, yeah.
I thought he ran really well at Haydock. I'm not sure if Hello Youmzain got the run of the race.
The plan wasn't to make all with Hello Youmzain. He just pinged the lids, found himself in front, and Doyle just said, I didn't want to disappoint him, rein him back. Just thought I'd let him use his stride. He's got quite a big stride. And he just ran them into the ground from halfway. I think he was maybe tying up a bit close home.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll try and make all at Ascot because it's quite a hard track to make all at. They'll take a lead from something, but yeah, I don't know whether the Tin Man was maybe a bit flattered.
Yeah.
Because
he'll definitely handle the ground, the Tin Man. But is he really getting? Is he 7 or 8 now? He's
getting on a bit.
Been around for years, hasn't he?
God.
Yeah.
But
the old boys, Brando, he's running his 4th run in the race.
Yeah, Brando's
ran a big race behind Advertised, didn't he?
Yeah, he's run plenty of good races this season. Actually, he did bleed in the Sprint Cup last time though, and he does that all the time, doesn't he? He's quite a regular bleeder, I think.
Cool. Well, selection time. I'm going to go with Make a Challenge and then Santa Mile each way. Mark?
I'll probably go Dream of Dreams each way.
And Jack?
I'll go Hello Youmzain.
Great. Should we just very quickly have a look at the Balmoral? Lord North favourite here after absolutely bolting up in the Cambridgeshire. This is obviously a big ask off top weight now. Jack, I think you found a Cloncooley, is that right?
Yeah, like Cloncooley. She got beat by the whip of a fag paper in the old Hunt Cup under a beautiful waiting ride from Jamie Spencer. She's back down to that same mark now. We know she loves it over course and distance. She loves soft ground. She'll get a nice strong pace to aim at, so I'm expecting a big run from her. She's got stall 1, which isn't ideal, but Spencer will just rein back and sit last anyway, so he'll just see wherever the pace is and track over, I'm sure. So I'm expecting her to go really well. She's about 10, 12 to 1-ish. I think Lord North as the jolly, up £12, different ground. This isn't going to be as easy as people think, I don't think so. But for me, Cloncooley would be one of my bets of the day.
And Nev, what do you like?
I like Cooler Forest. She won at York last Saturday. I'd really like horses who drop from 10 furlongs to a mile on the Ascot Straight Course. She liked the ground. 16 to 1 is really good value.
Excellent. I'm going to stick with Kick On. I think he's got the class in the race. He's a Group 2 winner earlier in the season. So Group 3 winner earlier in the season at Salisbury. Beat Accidental Asian that day. I think he's got a nice racing weight now, and he'll appreciate the way the race is run. So he's going to be my pick. Best bet of the day, lads. Let's start with you, Jack.
I'm going to go Cloncooley in the Balmoral.
Lovely. Mark?
I'll go Tawana in the Fillies and Mares.
Okay, great. I'm going to go Fleeting each way in the Fillies and Mares as well. Thanks very much for watching, everyone, and best of luck for all your bets on Saturday and what promises to be the most exciting afternoon's action at Ascot.